Time, it might be one of humanity's oldest illusions. Calendars, years, centuries, they are all parts of the illusion of order. But what if that order itself is fake? What if we are living in the shadow of a century that never truly existed? This question arose in the late 20th century when German historian Herbert Illig proposed it, causing the academic world to first fall silent and then erupt into debate. Illig's claim was radical enough to shake the foundations of historical understanding. According to him, approximately 297 years between AD 614 and 911 were artificially added to history, never actually lived. In other words, we should actually be living in the year 1728. This theory is known as the phantom time hypothesis. According to Illig and some of his supporters, this mysterious segment of the Middle Ages was deliberately fabricated by Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII Porphyrogenitus. But why? The manipulation of history served only one purpose: power and prestige. Otto III wanted his reign to coincide with the turn of the millennium, thereby gaining prestige and consolidating political dominance across Europe. The calendar was moved forward, forged documents were produced, and chronology was rewritten. Everything hinges on detailed analyses of calendar reforms and astronomical calculations. Throughout history, calendar systems have been intertwined with astronomy because measuring time depends on the sky, the movements of the sun, the cycles of the moon, and the equinoxes all set the framework. In 1991, Illig analyzed the difference between the Julian calendar and the Gregorian calendar introduced in 1582. Normally, this difference should have been 13 days, but observations showed only 10. According to supporters of the theory, this 3-day discrepancy points to the existence of roughly 300 years of phantom time. If these years were never lived, then many rulers, documents, wars, and buildings of that period would be fabricated. Perhaps the most striking example is Charlemagne. Considered one of the most famous rulers in European history, Charlemagne, according to the phantom time hypothesis, is a completely fictional character. Illig argues that Charlemagne's life, full of heroic deeds, is more like a legendary epic than a record of a real person. Moreover, most documents supposedly from that era were written centuries later. Archaeological and architectural evidence also supports the theory. Churches, castles, and manuscripts dated between 600 and 900 show signs of being retrospectively dated to fit the official chronology. Excavations reveal pottery, coins, and graves that are remarkably scarce, suggesting minimal physical evidence from that period. In Central Europe, between the 7th and 10th centuries, civilization appears nearly stagnant. Science, art, and architectural output had sharply declined. Historians have termed this era the Dark Ages. Illig, however, uses the term differently. This period may have never actually occurred. The core claim of the phantom time hypothesis is that these phantom years were created through political and religious manipulation. Otto III's reign was aligned with the millennium in collaboration with Pope Sylvester II and Emperor Constantine, moving the calendar forward. History was deliberately rewritten, producing a fabricated chronology. Of course, the theory is not limited to Europe. It faces challenges when compared to global chronologies. If 300 years were fabricated, civilizations like China, the Arabs, and the Maya would also need to have forged records during the same period. Critics argue against this. Chinese chronologies, particularly Tang Dynasty records, are detailed between the 7th and 9th centuries. Islamic historians, such as Ibn Ishaq and al-Tabari, also left written sources from this time. Phantom time supporters respond that the chronologies of different civilizations were later synchronized, aligning European years with other cultures. This suggests Europe-centric chronological distortion rather than a global conspiracy. Astronomical records play a central role in this theory. Solar and lunar eclipses have been observed throughout history and can be verified with modern astronomy. If 300 years were removed, these records should not align with contemporary calculations. Some studies claim medieval eclipse records are off by several centuries. Mainstream science attributes discrepancies to observational errors. Yet, such uncertainties allow the theory to breathe and prompt viewers to question, did these years really happen? Illig's work later attracted other researchers. Dr. Hans Ulrich Niemitz, in his 1995 paper, "Did the early Middle Ages really exist?" systematically explored the hypothesis. Niemitz examined not only documents but also archaeological silence. According to him, European cities between 600 and 900 showed virtually no growth. Population stagnated, trade declined, and cultural production was minimal. This suggests either that Europe truly experienced a stagnant period or that the period never existed. The theory sparked major controversy. Most academics dismiss phantom time as pseudoscience. Criticisms include: 1. Chronologies across different regions are consistent. There is no 300-year gap in Chinese, Arab, or Byzantine records. 2. Carbon-14 testing and dendrochronology confirm the dates of historical artifacts. 3. Calendar discrepancies can be explained by observational errors during the Gregorian reform. Yet some contradictions remain unexplained. The transition from the fall of the Roman Empire to the rise of the Middle Ages is almost invisible. Rome fell in 476, but by 600, Europe had entered a completely different cultural phase. Charlemagne's vast empire quickly fragmented, yet concrete evidence is lacking. Maps, ruins, and documents point not to a vast empire, but to a legendary figure. Most medieval documents were under church control. If history was manipulated, the church had the power to do so. Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII's De Administrando Imperio contains chronological gaps of approximately 200 to 300 years. Proponents view these as traces of manipulation. Mainstream historians consider them copying errors. The phantom time hypothesis is more than a historical theory. It is a thought experiment challenging humanity's perception of reality. History is not just past events, it is a consensus narrative. We look at calendars, books, and monuments assuming they reflect reality. But what if that narrative is wrong? What if we are living inside a historical illusion? Testing the accuracy of history is not easy. Archaeology, astronomy, and documents provide clues, but nothing is definitive. Thus, phantom time, while scientifically contentious, is conceptually powerful. It asks, what year is it really? Perhaps calendars are merely an illusion. Perhaps some of the past was deliberately erased, rewritten, or imagined. Even today, researchers continue examining Illig's ideas with modern methods. Satellite imagery, carbon dating, and astronomical simulations are used to retest chronologies. Results are inconclusive, yet some regions show thinner historical layers than expected, and some chronologies contain gaps. Perhaps part of history has truly been pushed out of time. Phantom time teaches two things. History is not absolute. It is written by the powerful, and the boundary between truth and fiction is thinner than we imagine. Perhaps between 614 and 911, the world existed, people lived, but records were lost. Or perhaps it never truly happened. Humanity journeys through time without ever seeing it. Calendars turn, years change, civilizations rise and fall. But who knows? Perhaps we are living in the echo of a century that never existed. Every passing hour, history's silent void watches us between existence and non-existence, at the exact boundary of truth and illusion. Perhaps calendars remind us not only of time, but of a truth we are meant to forget. Perhaps part of history was deliberately buried in silence, and unknowingly we continue to live in the echo of a century that never was. Time moves forward, yet in a direction not entirely real. And with each new day, another forgotten day of history is born.